長官ユナイテッドエンパイア今日は試合があったそして彼がエンパイアの応援してくれるんですよみんなブローキンテーブルポッドキャストよろしく
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Broken Tables podcast. I am your host, Jeffrey Vegas, here as always with our reigning, defending Broken Predictions champion, King Rome. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing excellent.
Right on, right on. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 104 for our AEW Dynamite New Year Smash episode from Denver, Colorado tonight. This crowd was awesome tonight, man. They were much louder and much more into this than I had thought they were going to be.
Yeah, it was definitely a hot crowd. They were on fire tonight. They really brought it, and there were a few guys here tonight that they were really, really into.
Yeah, absolutely. Great episode of Dynamite here, but I do have one small complaint, but we'll get to that a little bit later. You know what I mean? We started off the night with a bang with Bryan Danielson versus Ethan Page. And Ethan Page had Stokely Hathaway with him, and he was wearing a hat this time tonight. I think he was still a little upset about Bryan Danielson saying his head was too shiny. That was pretty funny. I really enjoyed the hat he was wearing. This was really good because as soon as both guys got into the ring, MJF's music hit. And they showed MJF up in one of the skybox suites up there with apparently the hottest chick in Colorado. And I thought she was Shotzi Blackheart for a second. Just for like a split second, I was like, whoa, was that Shotzi? And then I was like, okay, obviously it's not. But, at a glance, I was like, hey.
No, so yeah, a lot of wrestling Twitter was saying that it was Shotzi. But no, it's an indie wrestler. Her name is, I believe it was Daddy Doom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she looked great. I definitely would like to see her in AEW sometime. So
yeah,
I'm all for that.
So real quick, kind of a little bit of a downer about the show, but it's not a bad thing. But did it hit you at all that was probably the last time we hear the Light the Fuse, Bring the Boom Dynamite opening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
Like, damn, this is it. This is the end of an era.
Man,
yeah,
it was nice while it lasted, though. The boom era was cool.
No, but definitely. I think it's a good idea to you want to it's been 3 years. It's been a good run, 4 years or whatever it's been. 3.5.
Yeah.
But it was kind of a somber moment for me. It was like, yeah, it's the last one.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that. So now that you said it, I'm like experiencing that somberness now. Damn.
Yeah.
But this match with Danielson and Ethan Page was fantastic. MJF's little distraction up there in the crowd gave Ethan Page a chance to attack before the bell. I really, really enjoyed this match. What did you think about this one?
Well, I've yet to see a bad Bryan Danielson match. If someone can point me in the direction of that, please do. This was a great match. It was just awesome. I think Ethan Page has been kind of having an underrated year quietly, like under the radar. He's been just doing a lot of good work this year. Started off the year with Man of the Year, and then throughout the summer, obviously when Scorpio took a step back, he was kind of a little bit in limbo. But I mean, he's been doing great work with the firm and Stoke, and he's doing a lot of awesome stuff with Matt Hardy and Private Party on Elevation. But he's having a really good year, and it was a great way for him to end his year to go and have an absolute awesome match with Danielson.
Yeah, and exactly what Miyaja just said. Danielson gives everyone their best matches of their career. Like, that's just the perfect way to put it.
Yeah, definitely.
So this was fantastic. Stokely got involved, of course, casting some distraction from the outside. Danielson knocks his hat off. But, Danielson perseveres and he finishes Ethan off by submission or KO, however you want to put it. He basically stomps Ethan's face into oblivion, but then he locks in some sort of a submission. I wasn't sure what you called this thing. But the submission was basically unnecessary as he was already out. So you could say submission or KO for this one. Not too sure what they're going to put down in the books. What would you say for that finish? Would you go with submission, I guess? Because they didn't ring the bell till he was in a submission.
Oh yeah, it's a submission.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, he was out.
Yeah.
No need. This was great though. Danielson climbs up on the ropes and celebrates, and he points at MJF in the audience. And yeah, man, I can't wait for this Danielson MJF match. This is it's gonna be one of my favorite matches of the year, and it's gonna happen early apparently.
Maybe. I mean, that could be the match that they want to do at Revolution. You never know. I don't know
Yeah,
how long they're going to go with it. I mean, it's definitely a big money match, so we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, March isn't that far into the year. That would still be early in the year, So we shall see when they decide to pop that one off. Next up, we had Samoa Joe with a video package on Wardlow. Wardlow gave a live response, but during his response, Samoa Joe attacks him with a large chunk of what looked to be like either a lead pipe or chunk of aluminum pipe, and he smashes Wardlow's leg, man. So that ties into our main event with the match with Wardlow's injury there for the main event. Next up, we had. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. Just a few things I wanted to say. I think it's really smart for them to book these types of situations, and they do it from time to time where it's something to kind of keep you invested in the whole show. You have a segment kind of early that leads into the main event. And I just wanted to kind of point that out and give kudos to that because obviously you want to kind of retain your viewership throughout the entire show. And I think doing angles like this is a really smart way to do it. It also helps with the booking of the match later on.
So I'm actually going to say something I was going to say later now then, because your point changes my mind. I was thinking that the Samoa Joe Wardlow match should not have been the main event. I was thinking this should have gone in place of Kenny, the Elite, and the Death Triangle. But if they would have done that, they wouldn't have had the time to do what you just said and kind of tie this in. So you kind of changed my mind there. So all right, I'm fine with it being the main event now.
So I mean, I wrote after Game 6, I wrote the same thing in my notes that like this match should have went on last. But by the end of the show, I'm sitting here and it kind of harkens back to it was something that WCW, if I recall correctly, would do often. That was always a good idea, and to an extent, when WWE was pretty good, 20 years ago, they did it a lot too. Where it's like you would open your show, or at least one of the first 2 or 3 segments of your show would be something that would lead into the main event, and it would kind of keep the viewer engaged through the entire night. And I think it's a really smart thing to do because throughout the night you can just keep saying like it's a good way to hype up your main event. Like, hey, we haven't been able to get an update on Wardlow. Hey, Tony Schiavone was backstage. They won't let anyone near Wardlow. You know what I mean? And then so you get to that main event and you're like, is this match happening? Is it not? Like, there's some suspense built up there. But yeah, it's really smartly done. And even though Game 6 is the match of the night, I understand and accept why this match went on last.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so next up we had Moxley and Claudio versus Dante and Darius Martin, Top Flight. Man, I'm so happy to see these two guys back, together as a tag team. As good as Dante is, for some reason I like him better as a tag team. You know what I mean? It's just something about him. I like him better as a tag team. I'm not too sure why, but you know.
You missed the segment. You missed the Hangman Adam Page segment.
I missed the Hangman segment. Where'd that pop in at?
It happened before the Blackpool Combat Club versus Top Flight.
Well, what was it then? I didn't even write anything down for that. I
Oh.
must have totally actually missed it.
So Hangman Adam Page getting checked out by a trainer with a Dark Order surrounding him. Hangman, Renee Young shows up to. I'm sorry, Renee Paquette. Jeez, Renee Paquette shows up to interview him. And number one, I really enjoyed Hangman acknowledging that Renee is Moxley's wife because she was like, "We're looking to get an update on your health and like if you're cleared yet." And Hangman gets up and he's like, "Yeah, of course you want an update or something like that." And the Dark Order's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, calm down, calm down." And basically Hangman saying that he wants to fight Mox, and the doctor steps in and the doctor's like, "Look, man, you've been attacking Mox every single week. Based off our concussion protocol, we think you're on track to get cleared very soon. If you can just take it easy, you'll be cleared with it, in under 2 weeks." And so Hangman's like, "Oh, so like I could be back by LA?" And then the doc's like, "Yeah, but you gotta stop attacking Mox because if you keep going after him, something bad's gonna happen, and we might lose you forever, and we don't want that. So you got to stay out of the ring." It was a really good segment overall. It basically is implying that we're gonna get Mox versus Hangman at the LA show, which the LA show has the potential to be one of the greatest, if not the greatest, episodes of Dynamite ever. I mean, so far, based off what they're teasing, we're gonna have Hangman versus Moxley. We're gonna have the Elite versus the Death Triangle, Game 7 in a ladder match, and then obviously Soraya's mystery partner versus Britt and Jamie. This January 11th could be one of it could be a fucking crazy night for AEW. Maduja in the chat saying Dragon Lee just announced that he signed with WWE. Oh, look at that.
Which one? Who's Dragon Lee?
I remember the name. I forget.
It sounds familiar. Is he somebody that's been in AEW recently, or is he just one of the indie guys?
That's a great question. I remember the name. I think he worked with Roosh, if I'm not mistaken.
That's what I was thinking. Like,
I think
that's Dralistico. That's
I'm
his
pretty
brother,
sure he
right?
did a match in AEW, or if not, oh no, Dragon Lee. He was at Ring of Honor. He did a Ring of Honor show, like an AEW ran Ring of Honor show. I think not Final Battle, but the one before that one.
Okay.
He wrestled, I believe, a singles match against Roosh, or something like that. But well, I mean, it sucks to be him. I guess he'll get paid well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this was a really great segment. I loved against the little things. Hangman having some beef with Renee for no reason. Maduja saying he was a trios with Andrade and Roosh.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Right. But yeah, great segment. John Silver made me laugh because Renee said, "Well, I'm sure you're interested in this next match coming up," and he's like, "Oh, why would you say that? Like, because Mox is in it," and he gets upset. And John Silver's like, no, it's not John Moxley, it's John Foxley. John Foxley's wrestling, and that got a pop out of me. I admit I found that pretty funny. Someone made an AEW All Elite graphic too. It was like John Foxley is All Elite, and it's Moxley with like a cartoon fox's head. I don't know. I found it total geek thing, but I found it really funny actually.
That's good.
But yeah, great segment. You may carry on now.
All right. So I don't know how I missed that thing, but maybe I went to the kitchen and got a drink or something. But we did have Moxley and Claudio of the Blackpool Combat Club versus Dante and Darius Martin of Top Flight. One thing I wrote down here for Dante and Darius, it feels like we were trying to pump these guys up, get them to be a little bit more of stars. I feel like they should have got some fireworks here. You know what I mean? Just something like a little, some sort of something, you know what I mean? Because even Jungle Boy got it as he was coming out for his rundown. So I was thinking, like, man, it would have been nice for them to get just a little bit of something, you know?
Yeah.
Coach Nick in chat trolling King Rome with the paper towels or God tier.
All right. Well, I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. It's just not factual. It's really when you go to a restaurant, you sit down in the restaurant, right? And you're like, can I get something, can I get something to, wipe my hands, my face, or whatever I need?
Yeah.
They fucking bring you paper towels. They bring you napkins. There's a reason why that the restaurants spend money for the napkins. And, this is real brief because here's the thing. I feel like I'm being misunderstood. It's a tier thing. Not all napkins are equal. Like there are like little shitty
That is
napkins you
true.
get from like a pizza place. Paper towels way better than those napkins. But like when you go to like, you know, I'm just local stuff. But if you go to like certain restaurants, nicer restaurants, like say like a Maggie's restaurant or around here in Philly or something like that, you get like legitimate like napkins. And like legitimate napkins are the best in terms of that usage. In terms of when you're eating and you need something to wipe your hands, your face, or whatever you need, napkins are the way to go. They're softer than paper towels. They're durable enough but like you're not wiping. Like paper towels have absorption, and that's great.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about cleaning unless they were talking about cleaning on the Game Room podcast. I thought they were talking about like eating and like using it as a tool to help clean ourselves after eating food.
So
That napkins are the best.
so now I know this is going to be a small percentage of the time,
Sure.
but I'm a chicken wings type of guy.
Okay.
When you're eating wings, what would you rather have, napkins or paper towels?
Just like napkins. Again, it's a texture thing. I like
Man,
napkins are softer. They from my experience, I feel like napkins can grab a little bit more sauce than that type of stuff. I mean, I don't really ever have an issue. Again, it depends on the napkin because like that's where this argument I think gets really misconstrued here, where it's like there are some really shitty napkins out there. You know what I
there
mean?
are. Yeah.
There are, and I'm not saying they're not. And I'm not saying paper towels are worse than those napkins. I'm just saying like S tier napkins are better in this situation, this usage than paper towels. But paper towels are better than shitty napkins. Like paper towels
Yeah.
are like in the middle. You know what I mean? So like yeah,
Yeah.
they're better than some, but not better than others. And then also Forrest was talking about cloth towels or something, or maybe Coach was, and I was like, I don't consider cloth towels paper towels. So if you like those like fancy like
It's
cloth
called a
towel
fancy
fancy
napkin.
napkins, that doesn't count as a paper towel to me. I don't
It's
count
called a
that.
fancy napkin. When you go to a nice restaurant and they give you like one of those things that they wash,
Right.
that's called a fancy napkin. So,
And that's what I'm saying. It's called a fancy napkin.
but
Like,
it's just a piece of a drape cut into a square. I'll, be honest. Those things are rough. I hate those things.
yeah. I was like, I'm just saying, man. And then also, like, Coach is trying to say, like, PlayStation's God tier. Like, I'm like, video games are God tier. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I have all three. Just,
All right, let's get back on track here. So Top Flight attacks Moxley and Claudio before the bell rings, and the crowd kind of wanted to boo him here. They were kind of like, boo, boo, okay, whatever, you know what I mean? Because immediately Claudio and Mox just turned around and beat their asses. But that was interesting. Did that seem a little bit heelish to you, or do you think they were just trying to get the upper hand on two veterans?
I think we were just trying to get the upper hand on two veterans. I don't think
Yeah,
it was anything heelish. I don't. Top Flight's one of those kinds of tag teams. Like, I don't know if they would work as a heel.
no, I agree.
I don't see that working for them.
I agree. I mean, you definitely don't want them acting like the dudes from Private Party. You know what I mean? They don't fit that. They don't fit that personality at all. So
Right.
yeah, you're right. Another thing I was wishing that they had was, instead of just those black zip up hoodies, maybe some sort of a shirt for Top Flight or something. Or maybe, I know there was a design on the back, but we never actually got to see it. I was really trying hard to see what it was, but we never got to see it. They just ripped his jacket off of him. It was still a great match. I'm just saying, if we're trying to boost up these guys, just give them a little something. Give them a little bit of maybe a new song coming up in the new year, or some fireworks. Just a little bit of something. That's all.
I just think that wasn't the priority right now. I mean,
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, and I don't disagree with you, but I think that they're very early in their trajectory, and we forget this because Darius was out for so long over the last 2 years. But they're still
Okay.
very early in their trajectory of where they can go. So that would be my thing. Is like I don't think they need it yet. Um, I would also like to see them work a little bit more on their promos before we have to focus on a big whole revamp of their entrances and whatnot.
Yeah. True that. True that. So this was an excellent match. We had a awesome hot tag to Dante, awesome hot tag to Claudio. excellent kick out by Darius after Moxley just absolutely annihilated him. I think the crowd was even chanting, holy shit, holy shit. Like, how did he kick out from that? Um, Dante, he kicked, or I'm sorry, Claudio just absolutely annihilated Darius after that kick out with it was just a regular strike, right? Did he hit him with one of his uppercuts, or was it just like a forearm strike from hell?
Claudio's finisher, it was just a fucking gnarly
Just,
uppercut.
yeah, oh, he
He
just
took the mouth guard out
obliterated
and just
him.
like and just just uppercutted him. It's like
Yeah,
beautiful.
that's what it was. Yeah, he just hit him with that uppercut and just basically took him out of his shoes. Got the 1, 2, 3. I wrote down that was the hardest strike of all time in AEW. Like, it was ridiculous the way he was just like, all right, this kid's gonna kick out of this, and just blam, just annihilated him. It was a great match. I thought they did a great job of making Darius and Dante look good, which you don't have to try hard to make them look good. They do that on their own. But we'll see where these guys go for the future. Um, what do you think? Where do you think these guys go from this match here, like Darius and Dante?
Honestly, I think 2023 is going to be a really big year for them. I think that they ended the year really strong here. They looked really good against the Blackpool Combat Club 2 weeks
Yeah.
in a row. Before that, they had a great match at Ring of Honor Final Battle. Um, I think that I could see them competing for tag team gold, whether it be AEW or Ring of Honor, in 2023. I think that there are names to really keep an eye out for. I think it's going to be a really big year for them in terms of growth. I don't know if it's going to end with them winning gold or not, but I would expect it to be a pretty big year for them.
Yeah, yeah. Miaja in chat says, oh, real quick, it's kind of a spoiler alert. So if you're just listening and you don't want to hear what happened in AAA, plug your ears or mute it. Uh, so Ty Mello and Sammy Guevara have lost the mixed tag championships. He says, I forgot they even had those titles. So did I. Did you remember they had those?
I did. It's not really a spoiler. Twitter. It was all over Twitter that they were already going to be
Oh,
they were going to be stripped of the tag titles. I don't remember the reasoning for it, but here's something I didn't see in chat. I mean, this is also a spoiler of AAA, but for you, Jeff, Trilistico and Dragon Lee defeated FTR to win the AAA Tag Team Championships. Interesting that Dragon Lee has won a title and then he's leaving. That's interesting.
hmm. Are we sure Dragon Lee is signed with the WWE?
I'm trying to
Because
keep
that
an
would
eye
be
out,
weird for
bro.
him to have just won the AAA title. All right. Next up, we had Kip Sabian and Penelope backstage with the best friends in Danhausen, with Renee Paquette. Kip Sabian basically like manipulates the best friends here into having a match against each other. Essentially, he kind of says Trent has a match before you to Kip, and Trent was like, "Wait, really?" And he was like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it on Rampage." So it looks like Orange Cassidy booked himself a match with Trent on Rampage, and Trent looked like he was about to take this a little bit more serious than friends would, you know?
Yeah. Firstly, real quick, this is coming from Lucha Blog on Twitter. Lucha Blog is a very well-known, you know, Mexican wrestling Twitter account. I actually follow him. Um, he confirms that they confirm that it was Dragon Lee's last match in Mexico. He is going to WWE.
So, what? What are they going to do with those belts then?
Um, I don't know, but more people are picking up on the story now. Yeah, no, yeah, he's going to WWE. Pretty much, this is
Well, that
running with it. But he
that's
originally,
fine. He's going. Good for him. I'm just like, why? I guess they just wanted the belt off of FTR. I guess. I don't know. That's wild. Huh.
yeah. Well, I mean, it happens. I mean, CM Punk won the title like a month before he left Ring of Honor, so um,
Yeah, I mean, I get it. No worries.
yeah. I mean, we're in the middle of a wrestling war, so I mean, The Fed signed Dragon Lee because they know that AEW would probably have wanted them as well. Oh, if I were at AEW, I would sign Dralistico though. But that's just
Yeah, I think Dralistico is already signed, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be.
you may be.
Speaking of, I mean, I guess not speaking of, but for Christmas, I got a box of AEW cards, and here, let me put it on my screen to see it better. I got a box of AEW cards, and I pulled an autograph of the bunny.
Nice.
All right, so yeah, we're gonna get Orange Cassidy versus Trent, man, and I think something's gonna go down in this match where Trent's gonna take it a little bit more serious than Cassidy was expecting, and we might start some turmoil.
No,
You think?
no, I don't. I don't think at all.
No.
First of all, I used to pray for times like this. You know what I mean? This is excellent. This is great. We're about to get Orange Cassidy versus Trent Beretta, and I don't think people are ready for it. This is gonna be amazing. Um, this is a Rome get hype match of the year contender right here. This is like Tony Khan
Oh
book it.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this match. It's gonna be awesome. And no, it's not going to be like a best friends are gonna break up. I would be very surprised to see best friends break up over it. But it was really funny where Kip's just like, well, I eliminated you in the battle royal, so therefore I should get a title shot. Trent's like, yeah, but then I eliminated you, so by your logic, I should get a title
I
shot.
should go.
And Cassidy's like, all right, let's do it.
He's like, no, he's right. He gets a shot before you, and Trent's like, wait, really? It was so good. Love it.
It was awesome. So I'm very excited. Rampage is stacked this week.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, and next up we got Hook for another appearance on Dynamite. Was this 2 weeks in a row that we got Hook? My brain can't remember if it was last week that Hook was on.
Yes.
It was, yeah, man. 2 weeks in a row of Hook on Dynamite. I think we can say he has graduated from Rampage up to Dynamite here. I'm so happy to see Hook on the live show, and this crowd, when his music hit, this crowd was freaking hype, and so was I, because I don't think I saw anything advertising this match, and me, man, Hook is one of my top 10, possibly top 5. I know he is one of the coach's top 5, but I'm not sure if he's broken into my top 5 yet. Maybe when we do our 2023 tier list coming up next year, maybe we'll see what my top 5 is. I don't even know if I have it in my head at the moment. You know what I mean? But go ahead.
Hold on. I'm trying to figure this out. This could be, it's breaking news. It's not super big news, but so there was a tweet put out by like a podcast. I don't know this podcast. I don't know who they are. But it was basically a quote that Dax Harwood had made earlier this week when he was talking about how he thinks that CM Punk and the Elite should find a way to make it work. And basically, yeah, it was an Instagram post, and the podcast, it's just that quote, which it says AEW's Dax Harwood makes a plea for CM Punk and the Elite to find a way to make it work. And then the podcast in question, they said, let's just shake hands and say sorry, LOL, but no, seriously. CM Punk commented on this and said, duh. DUH.
He said, duh.
Like, duh. So,
like, yeah, obviously we should shake hands and make money off of this.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's got to happen, man. If it doesn't happen, I don't even want to say it, but like, it's a huge stain on the end of his career if he lets it end this way.
Yeah. Oh, Tony
he needs
Khan
to come back. He needs to suck it up, and he needs to come back, and his career won't end on that sour note. That's all I can say, you know?
Yeah, I guess Twitter's got the scoops tonight. Tony Khan announced after Dynamite that Paul White is going to be the new commentator for Rampage. I'm not sure if it's here in Denver or moving forward.
Okay.
But yeah, they got Paul White doing commentary. Paul White's been doing commentary on Elevation on Mondays.
Yeah, I like Paul White on commentary. He's good, man. He's funny.
Yeah, sources have told me that he's your favorite wrestler of all time.
I mean, he's up in like my top 25-ish, but I'm not. He's nowhere near my top 5. Come on.
I don't know. Joe told me otherwise. I'm just saying.
He doesn't know. Oh man. So this Hook match was fantastic. Did you catch this guy's name by any chance?
Yeah, his name is Balaam Lynx.
Balaam Lynx. All right. I was writing something else down and I missed his name. Hook basically just uses his freaking awesome judo. I love Hook's entire move set. Everything that he does is just perfect for him, in my opinion. He hits this dude with a bunch of judo throws, a suplex or two, and hits him with the red rum submission move and finishes him off. And we immediately get Stokely Hathaway and Big Bill with Lee Moriarty coming down. Jungle Boy comes out for, I guess you would call it the save. Hook is just face to face with Big Bill at the moment. Jungle Boy takes out Lee Moriarty, so essentially it was one-on-one for a moment in the ring. Hook kind of winds up on the losing end of this one-on-one here, and he almost takes a choke slam, but Jungle Boy jumps in the ring with a 2x4 and smashes it over the back of Big Bill, hits him in the stomach with it as well, goes to hit him again, and Big Bill rolls out of the ring, and they retreat. So looks like we've had a, I'll save you, you save me type moment, and I'm wondering if we're getting a new tag team here.
I don't know if it's a whole new tag team, but it's definitely an alliance. And man,
Yeah,
like I said
absolutely.
it when they first happened, but like, what a fuck yeah tag team! Like,
Hell yeah.
it's a team that I never knew I wanted until it happened. Where it's like, man, Jack Perry and Hook, and and I didn't share this in the Discord, but shout out to our friend Jordan, who got quote tweeted by Taz today. I thought that was pretty cool. I was scrolling on Twitter, and he was Jordan had said, need more of the Jungle Hook, and Taz like quote tweeted it with like the eyes emoji, where it's like,
Nice. Yeah. Congratulations to Jordan. He was our first mod.
he's around. He pops in.
I was gonna say, now that you mentioned that, do we got any mods here? We got Rome as a mod. Okay, Coach is a mod, but you watch this later. We might have to think about someone graduating up to that blue wrench soon. All right, so this was perfect with Jungle Boy and Hook. What did he call it? The Jungle Hook. That's actually a pretty good name, even though it's just slapping their two names together. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, because it's like the Jungle Book, Jeff.
Yeah, Jungle Hook. That's awesome. All right, next up we had Chris Jericho video package recapping his last 2 weeks of losing to Action Andretti and Ricky Starks. Basically, he says Ricky turned down his opportunity of a lifetime to join the Jericho Appreciation Society. Says he's going to put an end to him in Seattle. So we're getting Ricky Starks versus Jericho on the 4th, right? January 4th for the new episode of Dynamite.
Sorry, I'm looking more at the CM Punk tweet thing.
Oh, yeah, you're fine.
No, go ahead. What were you saying?
I said we're getting Starks and Jericho on the 4th, right? The first episode of the new Dynamite.
Yes.
Yep. Next up, we had Swerve Strickland, Sneaky Swerve, and Wheeler Yuta backstage. This was awesome. Basically, Wheeler Yuta, comes into frame and challenges Swerve to a match. And we're getting Swerve versus Wheeler Yuta. I believe this is on Rampage as well.
Yes.
All right.
Quick clarification. Sorry again, Twitter is just popping off.
Oh, you're good.
So Paul White is doing commentary tonight. Tony Khan said he will be the first time ever guest commentator, but hopefully the first of many. So it seems like maybe they might start having a rotating chair on Rampage.
Oh, wow.
Anyways, go ahead.
All right. Next up was game 6 or match number 6 of the Elite versus Death Triangle best of 7. This was the Falls Count Anywhere match, and I did not expect it to start this way. No entrances. We all of a sudden cut to backstage in the hallway, and these dudes were already beating the tar out of each other backstage in the hallway. I really liked this, actually. You know, for a moment I was upset we didn't get any entrances, but we've gotten 5 entrances already. You know what I mean? So we didn't need an entrance this time, and I thought this was great.
So obviously, it's kind of just like a product of the match itself, but I would be I feel the need to mention that the Elite were in a backstage fight during this match. Like, not just, in the crowd or anything like that. I mean, obviously it's a false count anywhere, but some people on Twitter were a little, how people are. They were like, "Oh, the Elite were in a backstage fight in the hallways, near the locker rooms or whatever." I was like, "Yeah, that's
It's weird. I didn't actually think of that at all. I'm kind of surprised I didn't think of that, but yeah, there were a lot of Ibushi references in this match too.
Yeah, okay, well, Kenny Omega wore an Ibushi shirt today, during the match, so it's definitely something to, this is the second big Ibushi tease we've gotten recently, so I mean,
Yeah.
keep an eye out.
All right, so man, there were so many incredible spots in this match. There's too many to list, but backstage, Pac put Kenny into a brain buster on some freaking wooden pallets. That looked so nasty. That was like one of the first things we got to see. Pac did a moonsault off of a giant stack of, I don't even know what it was, just a big stack of equipment onto the Bucks. Fenix went through a table, looked like a catering table. I mean, this match was incredible. Once we spilled out onto the ramp, that V-trigger that Rey Fenix took, I thought he killed him. So Kenny comes flying out of the heel tunnel, out of nowhere. Rey Fenix is just kind of standing there over one of the Bucks, and he takes this V-trigger on the ramp that, I swear to you guys, I thought Kenny had kicked his head off of his shoulders. I hope they put it on Twitter, because it was one of the coolest. It was one of the best V-triggers I've seen in a long time. Let's just put it that way. One of my favorite spots done on the ramp all year. This match, I mean, what else can you say? Like, right now, there's these people that are saying, "Oh, I can't believe you guys want to watch a best of 7 series. Like, who wants to watch the same teams wrestle each other for 7 times?" I feel bad for those people, because I know they're not watching these matches. And every single one of these matches has been incredible and different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I mean, this match was excellent. This is just so much great stuff happened here. Like you said, too much to list. It was the match of the night. And every single match that these guys have had has just been different, and it's gotten better. Each match has been better than the last, I think. Apart from I think match 1 was better than game 1 was better than game like 3. But other than that, I mean, it's been an escalation of getting better and better, and escalation literally next in 2 weeks in the LA show when we get a Escalera de la Muerte.
Yeah, absolutely. So there was an insane Meltzer driver on the outside to Penta, got a 2.999 count. Falls count anywhere. They did the count right there on the outside. And then the crowd in Denver started chanting, "We want tables. We want tables." And I just wrote down, "Thank you very much, Denver," for the shout out. And Kenny Omega, he listened to the crowd. He heard the crowd's pleas for the tables. And way off to the side, off of the stage, Kenny has Rey Fenix up on his shoulders, in position for the one-winged angel, and off the stage through 2 tables on the outside, a one-winged angel to Rey Fenix for the 1, 2, 3. This might have been one of my favorite finishes of the year. And it's the whole thing that I just described. The big kick out at 3, or at 2.999 by Penta, and then the crowd chanting, "We want tables." It was like they knew. It was almost like the crowd was predicting what was about to happen. You know what I mean? And immediately they cut over to Kenny, and he's picking Ray Fenix up, and there's tables down below. Like, it was just so. It just. I don't know. You couldn't have done it any better if you had filmed it like a movie and been able to edit it. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Yeah, love the ending. Really smart ending of the match. I really enjoyed how they had Pac and with the submission on Matt in the ring.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of Matt just needing to hold on, but Matt doesn't even know, or at least you don't think he would know, that Keny's got the one-winged angel situation going on off stage. And then even I like the touch of they're having the ref having to run to the bell to make sure that they ring the bell after the pin. So there's still that like lapse of time where fans are like, "That's it, right? It's over. It's over."
Yeah, and Matt actually started tapping during that time while he was running down there. So, that was wild. That was such a good finish. Protects Death Triangle even if they lost too. Yep, like Mia just said. Yeah, absolutely. Just they did it perfectly, man. Just as Kenny's getting the 1, 2, 3, you can see he's got the brutalizer locked in on Matt. Matt didn't tap. They get the 1, 2, 3, and we are tied up 3 games to 3 games each team. So we're going to Game 7, Escalera de la Muerte. I can't wait, dude. I'm hyped for this one. Do we know when that match is happening? I think they've already said it, but do you know when it's happening?
The LA show,
The LA show. Do you know the date on that one?
January 11th.
Woo, let's go.
Yep.
I really, really hope we get a monster show in LA.
We're going to.
I really hope a certain someone brings the money to AEW.
Okay, so here's the thing. Since you're bringing it up now, right? So I again still thinking about it all the time. If it wasn't Sasha, right? Why haven't they teased it at all? And why has the storyline stalled? If they could tease or talk about who it is, why wouldn't they have at least teased it by now?
Because they can't.
Sasha,
She's not free
exactly.
until the 4th, right?
She's not free until January 1st.
It's the 4th, I thought. Oh, well, you might be right. Yeah.
Well, no. So she's not allowed to do anything in this year. So when 2023 starts, she can work.
Yeah.
But
so if she's not allowed to sign anything and all that, they might be like, "Look, if we haven't even put pen to paper, let's not do anything yet."
Right. They might have a handshake. I mean, I doubt they have a handshake agreement. Well, I think she's allowed to sign, but she's not allowed to be mentioned or compete or anything like that. Like, she's already signed to work Wrestle Kingdom on the 4th. Like, that's already a done deal.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
It's probably more of a special situation with her where she was like, I don't want to come back. And they were like, well, you're still under contract. And they probably were like, let her go, but she can't work this year and she can't mention anything this year. But I don't know, man. Like, if it was anybody else, they would have at least teased it yet. You know what I mean? Like, there would be something to go off of. Instead, we're sitting here and it's been 2 weeks and none of them have been really on TV except for Jamie defending her title against Sheeta. Like, Britt hasn't been on. Saraya hasn't really done anything. There's been no mention.
Maybe they want this one to be an actual secret. You know what I mean? Like, remember, like Adam Cole. I just think maybe they really want it to be a secret.
No, I get that, but that's my follow-up point. My follow-up point is that for it to be for it to be that important that you want it to be this much of a secret where you're just not talking about it at all, it's got to be something important. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know who else you would say that would be in that situation.
No, that's a good point, man. But we'll see. I'm still hopeful. I still think she's coming.
I do too.
All right. So yeah, like I said, I laugh at these people who are saying that, they wouldn't want to watch 7 matches between these guys. Every match has been unbelievable. It's your loss, you know what I mean? Next up, we had an acclaimed music video on Jeff Jarrett, and I know you were rolling for this one. You had to love this, right?
Yeah, this was incredible. This was just so good. One of their better music videos, if you can believe it. The line in this rap were so good. The ones that I really liked, and I wish I had come up with this one, but the worst Jeffrey since Dahmer, that was great.
Yes, that's the one I wrote down.
The Kurt Angle's wife line, that was really good. What was the other one? The Jay Lethal one was great. Where basically he was like, Jay Lethal, like your whole career is built off imitating other people. You've been, wrestling for 20 years, 20 plus years, and no one's imitating you. Which is really kind of like the biggest clapback of them all. Where it's like, bro, you've just been ripping off Macho Man and Ric Flair, and you haven't. No one's imitating you. Um, and he's like, Ric Flair was 74 years old and he beat you. It's
Yeah.
just like, but yeah, this was awesome. This was really great. Really loved it.
Oh yeah, I absolutely loved this rap. I'm sure they released it on Twitter or YouTube.
Yeah.
Go ahead and go check this out if you guys want to. Next up, we had Anna JAS and Ty Mello versus Ruby Soho and Willow Nightingale. And man, I absolutely love Willow. Willow is one of my favorite women's wrestlers right now. I hope she gets like a nice push coming up here soon in the future. But Ruby Soho's song and Taz, man, every time Ruby Soho's song comes on and Taz starts singing, it just makes me smile. I love Taz. He's like one of our national treasures now, you know?
I just want to see Taz and Excalibur be the voices of the Dynamite for the next 20 years.
Yeah, for real.
Well, that's all I want. That's what I really, really want.
It's the perfect announce team. It really is.
It really is. They're so good.
All right. For everybody that is listening out there, please hit that like button if you have not already. We're going to try to get to 10 likes by the end of tonight's episode. Hit the subscribe button if you are not already subscribed. We really appreciate it. This was a great women's match, man. I got to see Willow twerk. My night was complete. I just like sat back in the chair. I threw the pen down. I was like, I'm done. I was like, that's all. I'm good. I was gonna stop writing notes and everything, but for the show, I kept going. But this was a great match, dude. All four of these women did fantastic here tonight, and I can't help but think, man, we keep getting all these women's tag team matches. I really do think we're gonna be getting a women's tag team belts by the end of 2023.
I don't know. I mean, maybe. Possibly. I mean, there's rumors of them doing a whole women's show. If they do that, I would say definitely get a tag title going. I mean, the point is always valid that you want to make sure you're not having too many titles on your show.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's always a concern for me. I mean, especially with Ring of Honor,
Well,
also titles appear on the show from time to time. Obviously,
and that's kind of one of my things. I think Ring of Honor is kind of moving away from being on Dynamite and Rampage so much soon. So I think it'll be okay to have, those belts basically replaced by one or two more.
Yeah. I mean, my other thing is also they don't have as many women signed as they do men. I mean, and that's not just an AEW thing. That's really wrestling everywhere. I mean, I can't think of a promotion that has the same amount of women as men on their roster.
Yeah. And Ed has a great point there in chat. Ed says, they do that just to get as many women on the 920 segment as possible. I can see that. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's just that. I mean, obviously they have, TJ is a tag team. It's a stable. A team that's actually 2-0 on the New Year Smash shows. So that could start being a thing maybe if they wanted it to be.
Oh, true. And last year's was bloody, man. They showed a little bit of replay of last year's. I forgot how good that match was last year. That was one of the best women's matches of 2022 or of 2021.
Yeah, just great match. But yeah, I mean, again, I see it going both ways. I think if they do the women's show, then you can have women's tag titles. But I mean, other than that, I would say you already have, 2 world titles, 1 men, 1 women's. You got your 2 TV titles, and then you have the tag title. Then you have your All Atlantic title. I think that's really the right number. I would leave it at that. I wouldn't go much further than that.
Yeah, I got you. So Ty JAS pick up the win here via distraction. Anna J, she basically grabs a chair, goes to hit Willow. distracting Aubrey Edwards. She grabs the chair, wrestles it away from her. But while she's doing that, Ty Mello throws a chair into Ruby's hands and hits her with the pump kick. She hits her with the Ty KO and gets the 1-2-3. So, yeah, this is their second victory on the New Year's Bash in a row. So good for them. Just a decent match, you know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, here we go. Mia just got a spoiler for AAA. Vikingo has defeated Bandito. I bet that match was a fucking banger, dude. Miyoja, how good was that match? Yeah, you gotta tell me how good that was. I need to go see that match. I didn't even know they were gonna face each other. Vikingo versus Bandito. Bandito, my god. All right, next up we had Lexi Nair with the Gun Club. They were essentially just walking out of the building, basically all full of themselves from defeating FTR. And I didn't get the point of this segment. Can you tell me what you thought the point of this was? It was just them leaving the arena?
Well, number one, they're celebrating obnoxiously that they beat FTR in in not the most legitimate of ways. I mean, it was just a roll up. And then number two, it's just them kind of pushing the segment to next week. The next 2 weeks are going to be very big weeks for the company. So so tonight, I actually went into tonight with very low expectations. Not that I thought it was going to be a bad show, but knowing that the next 2 weeks, really the next like 3 or 4 weeks, are like really big for them, I wasn't expecting much to happen tonight. I was expecting, solid like good matches, but nothing too crazy going down. And for the most part, I mean, I wasn't wrong necessarily. It's an excellent episode of Dynamite. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like they're saving a lot of the big matches and the storylines for the next 2 weeks. So that was the point. And the point of it was that the Gun Club beat FTR last week. FTR is not there because they're losing their titles in Mexico. And then next week they're going to be losing their IWGP titles probably in New Japan. So you don't have FTR there right now. This was just a way for the Gun Club to kind of be on TV, remind people that they won, that they're still celebrating, which is an obnoxious heel thing to do, that you're still celebrating a week later. And then they're like, oh, we'll talk about it next week. We're out of here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's just them. It's literally just them. Like, we want to do this next week, but let's mention it tonight so that way we can kind of keep it going.
All right. Next up, we had Ricky Starks with Renee Paquette backstage. And man, this was like another different side of Ricky Starks almost. He was like super cool, calm, and collected, but still like very cocky, you know what I mean? Like he still had the Ricky Starks attitude, but he was like real calm and down to earth, you know what I mean? Like I really enjoyed this promo from him. He didn't have to yell. He didn't have to like get all crazy. It came across really well. Did you feel that way?
Yeah, he carries himself really well. I mean,
Yeah,
he's been killing it, and he's got a big match with Jericho next week. So yeah.
he basically said he's gonna get revenge for Action Andretti. So the classic "I shall avenge my friend" type thing. And next up, we had the TNT Championship, the main event: Samoa Joe versus Wardlow. We weren't even sure the match was going to happen still because of Wardlow getting smashed in the knee with the pipe. Wardlow comes down to the ring with a whole bunch of security trying to stop him, and he kind of beats up a couple of them, still selling his injury from earlier, but he does get in the ring, and they do ring the bell. I thought this was a great match, man. I'm not sure the knee thing was needed, although it does protect Wardlow here, in the loss, but this match was great. I'm not sure that they needed that. Did you feel like that was something that was necessary?
Absolutely. I thought it was really great. I thought, again, having Joe do it earlier in the night was great for your show. It keeps the viewer engagement going strong. And just Joe selling it earlier in the night where he's like, I did this to you. Remember that I did this to you. Like that was really great. And then again, it just adds to the dynamic of this match. It makes Wardlow an underdog in this situation. Wardlow's the babyface, so you want to cheer for him. And the fact that they were able to book a match in a way where someone like Wardlow comes in and he's the underdog, that's great. That's something that you don't see very often. So it was a different kind of match for Wardlow to work. It also does protect him in the loss. It was really funny because wrestling Twitter was freaking out today, and it was kind of ridiculous actually because so Fightful does like these little updates where it's like nothing's really like one whole article worthy, so they just kind of drop like an article with like 6 little news like headlines, and one of them was like people saw confetti falling at the Dynamite taping, or not taping but at Dynamite. So you know how they've been doing the confetti, so people were like, "Oh, they must be doing like a title change tonight," which if they were, it would have been this one. So for some reason, like wrestling Twitter got like, well, certain sections of wrestling Twitter, they started getting like really like bitchy and moany about Wardlow winning, which I was like, that's kind of weird.
Hmm.
But they got worked because he did not win. It happens.
Yeah,
I
they
think
got worked.
stadiums have it's like confetti up in their rafters all the time. Like it's just a regular thing. You know what I mean? Like sometimes all it takes is like a speaker to pop a little bit and just some confetti that's been up there for like 5 years just falls down. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping. Are they filming Rampage tonight?
They are, but I mean I would be very surprised if Trent beats Orange Cassidy. I would be very, very surprised. Not upset, believe it or not. Not upset, but very surprised.
I would actually like to see where that would go if Trent were to beat him. Where does that go from there, man? I'm interested in that a little bit. I don't know.
No, again, I think you're putting too much into like the best friends imploding, and that's just not what best friends would do. Like,
No, I don't think they would implode, but I think Cassidy would kind of be like, I want that back, bro.
no, what would happen is Orange Cassidy would like lose, and he'd be like, "Do you want the bag too?" Like he'd be like, "Here, you're gonna need this. It's a pain to carry it around."
That's actually, yeah, I think we could do this and it would be good, but I think we still keep it on Cassidy for a little while longer. All right, so this was a great big man match. These guys beat the living crap out of each other here. Um, the first power bomb by Wardlow was it was very, I guess, clever the way that he got him up for the power bomb. Samoa Joe kind of took him into the corner and was gonna do the punches to the head, and Wardlow just kind of picked him up because he was already in the power bomb position and hit him with number one of the symphony. But immediately when he went for powerbomb number 2, his knee gave out on him and he crumbled down to the ground. Um, basically, Joe hits chop block to the knee and wraps up the coquina clutch. I know they haven't called it the coquina clutch, but they haven't called it anything else. It's just a rear naked choke, if you don't know what the coquina clutch is. And he chokes Wardlow out unconscious, and Samoa Joe retains. He is still the king of AEW television. And I was kind of on the fence of how I liked the ending to this match, but I absolutely loved what came next. So it made the ending make sense, or not make sense, but it made me enjoy the ending. So Joe attacks after the bell, and he grabs a toolbox, pulls out a pair of scissors, and he cuts off Wardlow's ponytail. I was shocked at this, you know what I mean? I was very surprised because it takes a while to grow that stuff out. So Wardlow must have wanted a haircut or something like that. Um, and who shows up for the save but former TNT champion Darby Allin? Darby's music hits. He shows up behind Samoa Joe with the skateboard and smashes him in the back. He gets the save on for Wardlow there, and it looks like Samoa Joe might have his next challenger. Do you think? Do you think we're going straight to Darby, or is Wardlow going to be still involved here? What do you think we're doing?
Well, Dynamite is debuting in Seattle next week, which is Darby's hometown. So they're going to probably do Darby versus Joe in Seattle, I would assume. Um, Honestly, I would give the title to Darby.
100%. Absolutely.
I think that Joe is a good bridge here, where you could have Joe beat Wardlow and then Darby beat Joe, and I think that that's a really good way that that works out. And then Joe can go and do his Ring of Honor stuff. I think it makes a lot of sense considering they're about to start the ROH TV tapings at some point in January. Let him get the belt off of Joe, and then you can move forward with Joe and do his stuff in Ring of Honor. I think it's good. I think it's going to work. Um, it should be pretty good. That's probably where I would say they go next.
I really hope you're right. I really hope they put that belt on Darby because I am 100% behind that decision. When Darby had that belt really, really meant something. And I think Joe and Wardlow have brought a little something back to it as well. But something about Darby and the way that everybody loves him, that's going to bring some prestige that's needed back to that belt. You know what I mean? All right, so after Darby runs off Joe, the belt was still in the ring, and Darby holds that TNT championship up. So I can't wait. I'm really excited for that one. I know a lot of guys don't win in their hometown, so I got the fingers crossed. But please, Tony, if you're watching, put that thing back on Darby, man. One of the pillars. All right, so that does it for tonight's Dynamite. Great episode. Do you got what we have for Rampage lined up?
Yes. So Rampage is pretty stacked this week. First up we have First up we will hear from Jamie Hayter, which is great. We have the All Atlantic Championship match. On the graphic it says Best Friends Collide. It's Orange Cassidy versus Trent Beretta. We have the TBS Championship will be on the line. Jade Cargill versus Kiera Hogan.
That's going to be a banger.
Well, so I mean, also again, just putting this out here, this is giving off some pretty leaving the territory vibes for Kiera Hogan, which would set up for Sasha to come in because apparently Sasha and Kiera Hogan have like legitimate beef. They don't like each other at all.
Sucks for Kiera.
Yeah, well, so Kiera was from what I've read, she pretty much was instigating a bunch of shit, and she was like making light of Sasha's depression or whatever she was dealing with, or whatever it is. But bottom line is that I could see this being a thing where it's like, where Tony Khan's like, all right, well, Kiera, like, you know, you're not really signed here. We've just been bringing you on like a per deal basis, so we're gonna do a match here, and you're probably gonna be done.
Bye, Felicia.
Yeah, I wouldn't be. And then also we have Swerve Strickland versus Wheeler Yuta, and we will also hear from Jon Moxley. No match is announced for next week except for Chris Jericho versus Ricky Starks, but it was said that more matches will be announced on Rampage.
All right. You got anything you want to add for tonight's show, or anything else in the wrestling world you're seeing there on the old Twitter?
Just a little thing, actually. I'm looking at right now. So, during the rap tonight, Max Caster said, "And you're stealing money like it's Kurt Angle's wife." So the story there, I'm not sure if you're aware, Jeff, is basically Kurt Angle's wife left him and then married Jeff Jarrett. And so Karen Jarrett, who is Jeff Jarrett's wife, tweeted, "Hey, at Tony Khan, your little boy at Platinum Max thought he was cute and went somewhere he should have never ever gone. You and him have no idea what you've gotten started."
That's obviously kayfabe, right?
I would say so, because Max quote tweeted it and said, "Cancel me," smiley face.
Yeah, and I mean, you'd imagine a music video gets ran by some people, right?
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that was pretty much it. And Dude asking, is Game 7 next week? No, Game 7 is the 11th. They are doing Wrestle Kingdom next week.
Yeah, so that'll be the week after next week.
Yeah, Kenny Omega's
Game 7 is
in Japan.
2 weeks.
Yes. So that's all I got.
All right. Well, that was an excellent episode of Dynamite. You know, not an all-time great, but, you know, a good way to end the year. I can't wait for this next year, this new look. I want to see what we're going to be seeing here. The blue and red with that white logo is a little bit to get used to right now. I do like the look of the blue and red, the lasers and stuff, but the white logo is getting me right now. I love that AEW logo we have with the gold E. So I'm not sure if they're completely eliminating that or what, you know what I mean? But definitely interested to see what the stage is going to look like. Tony Khan has hinted that we're going to have a whole new look come January. So you got any ideas of what you think it's going to look like?
No, the only thing that I really need them to keep, and I don't even know if they will. So I don't even want to say need, because I feel like we're in a point now where it's not always as clear cut. But I think the two tunnels really helps make AEW seem, stand out.
Yeah.
Um, so I would like to see them keep that, but at the same time, I understand that, they have a lot of tweeners in AEW, so it's always kind of like, what are they? So I could see them being a little bit less eager to keep the two tunnels, but I'd like to see the two tunnels stay.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, it's kind of bittersweet. I mean, somebody who's been here since the beginning, since day one, it's going to be weird to see some of these big drastic changes be made. Um, but that being said, they're in a very important stage of the company's life right now where it's time for them to, um, I mean, I guess I want to say glow up, where it's just like,
Yeah.
they're hoping to get some big money next year. So I mean, getting a big update, you brought in I forgot his name, but the big signing for backstage for AEW is going to be really big, and he's going to be doing a lot of stuff. So it just makes a lot of sense for them to kind of really upgrade and completely update the whole package. So I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I'm gonna miss the phase one of AEW stuff. You know what I mean? The stage and the intro
Yeah,
and
me too.
all that. But look, it's
And
still going to be a great product. The product's going to be the same. They're just going for a little bit of a different look.
yeah, I totally get it. I do think it's time for a little bit of a different look, and I agree. The only thing for me is I do believe we're going to lose the two tunnels. That's one of my favorite things as well, especially since I got them right up here. Uh, yeah, I'm going to be sad to see the tunnels go. I think we're going to get a big jumbo screen. I don't think they're going to like go straight up WWE style, but I think it's going to be some sort of a single entrance, everybody's going to come from the same spot. It's going to be kind of a big production looking type thing, but I honestly have no idea what it's going to look like. I haven't even seen any spoilers or anything, so.
We'll see.
And I do want to say last thing here. That's a really nice CM Punk shirt you got on there.
Thank you.
I can't wait till we see him back in AEW. CM FTR versus the Elite is going to be one of my favorite things of 2023. You heard it here first. We're willing it into existence, everyone. Hit that like button if you want to see CM FTR versus the Elite in 2023. Full blown storyline and everything. I can't wait. It's gonna be freaking awesome.
Let's fucking go.
Fucking go. All right, man. You want to go ahead and close us out?
Well, this has been episode 104 of the Broken Tables podcast. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, subscribe. We really appreciate it. If you're checking us out somewhere not on YouTube, whether it be Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, or Anchor, make sure you follow us, subscribe to us wherever you find us. Meduja, you have a great night too, man. Obviously this is our live Dynamite review. We also do a Friday Rampage review, and we also do the Game Room podcast, a video game podcast, every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. We hope to see you guys again. You can follow us down below at our social medias in the description. But until then, see you guys next time.
Oh yeah, and top guys out.